Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out Am I the A-hole? Story 1. AITA for being hesitant to purchase a gift for my sister. I, 19M, have a little over 3,000 saved up, but I don't have an income right now as I dropped out of my job and am gonna continue my education in a few months. My mom just came to me today and proposed we gift my sister, 32F, a laptop. Everyone would pitch in 50 to purchase this laptop together. I was hesitant of the idea, and said that I don't want to be actively spending money when I don't have an income. Following this, she became really annoyed at me and wouldn't engage in conversation with me anymore for the rest of the day. She said that she was surprised of me in a disappointing way, and that I need to think more about being an adult. Story 2. AITA for telling a pastor that he's not welcome to our house. My parents and I, 18M, recently moved to another house. The issue is, we were helped by an acquaintance of my father's to get the house, and he's a Protestant pastor with kids. I have not liked him much from the beginning as he offend our faith by saying things like only the Christian God is real and stuff like that. Whenever he shows up to our house, he comes in every now and then, he talked about wanting to pray for us and makes us stand in a circle. My parents comply with it, and I agree as I don't want to piss them off. He also asks me to cook by saying when I was your age, I knew how to make food, etc. He says he will teach me and my parents just laugh it off. I find it extremely annoying, but I just keep my silence. Whenever he comes, he doesn't even ask for our permission. At one point he said his wife and he wants to see us and just showed up. He asks my father to join him for Sunday Mass and also gifted us the Bible. I think he wants to convert us, although he also says that he hates converting people. But I get fed up of him showing himself every now and then, and I told him sorry, but you're bothering me by showing up like that without any reason. It makes me uncomfortable. He apologized and left, but the reaction of my parents was nuclear. I don't know how to describe it. They began to yell and shout at me for disrespecting him, being ungrateful to him. It went on for the whole day and I had to personally go to the man's house and apologize to him too. They're still mad even though I apologized. I wonder whether I did anything wrong in what I said. AITA. Story 3. AITA for telling a McDonald's worker he was a lazy POS and calling his store to complain about him. Story 4. AITA for cooking a meal for my friend that may have disrupted her diet. For context, I am 18, F, and is quite fit and healthy, but the main thing is I can eat pretty much anything I want without gaining weight. My friend on the other hand, 20F, is on the heavier side, not obese just not thin, and has struggled with body image issues. It's important to note that she doesn't have any medical complications related to her weight. Last week, I invited her over to my place for a dinner and movie night, during which I prepared a meal that she absolutely loved and has been praising ever since. Just yesterday, she asked me for the recipe, and since I was making it again, I created a video recipe for her. For the meal, I used butter and oil, which she felt was excessive, and she accused me of trying to make her gain weight and labeled it unhealthy. I believed that the amount of butter I used was appropriate, although it might have been on the higher side compared to a typical home-cooked meal, but still within the range of what a professional chef might use in a restaurant. Her response was to send videos to our other friends, claiming that I was intentionally sabotaging her figure since I eat like an anorexic and would never have cooked like this for myself. This caused them to side with her and tell me off, saying I should have disclosed the amount of calories in the meal before I cooked it for her. I don't even know how many calories was in the meal. In response to her hurtful. Story 5. WIBTA if I went on a cruise with a man who wasn't my boyfriend. For context, I, 34F, just recently started dating my boyfriend Gus, 37M, a month ago. The relationship is amazing. We've known each other for a while now. We were introduced to each other by a mutual friend. I have a friend Mike, 38M, who I tried dating before. We realized we wouldn't work out as a couple. He's lonely and has no other real friends though that share the same interests. So he often invites me to do things with him I would otherwise never experience. Here's where the problem starts. During FanFest in Vegas this year he took me to a restaurant that had been on my bucket list. As I thanked him I mentioned this fact so he asked me about the other stuff on my bucket list. I mentioned how I've always wanted to go on a cruise to another country. I also tell him how I was supposed to go on one to Mexico for my 30th with my mother but her cruise before that was during a hurricane and she has since swore off cruises. He offered to take me on a Mexico cruise. Mentioning how he's been wanting to go on a cruise but didn't want to go alone. He said he would pay for my cruise ticket and anything I want to do on the cruise. I just have to buy my plane ticket to and from his state. Which, side note, is in the complete opposite end of the country. CA to FL, I agreed. Now Mike and I have talked before I started dating Gus. He purchased a single 2-bed cabin. So we won't be in the same bed but we would be sharing a room. I'm sure I've mentioned to Gus the cruise before we started dating but it was only in passing. I do plan to talk to Gus no matter what the results are. I believe in open and honest communication in relationships. If it turns out I would be the I will let Gus know I'm canceling the trip with Mike and we'll figure out how to reimburse him the ticket price. Gus has always been a kind and understanding man but I want to be prepared for the talk when it happens. So, would I be the for going on a cruise with Mike when I'm dating Gus? Edit 1. I feel I need to clarify something. Both men have never and will never expect me to do intimate things. They are both well aware I am asexual and don't partake in those types of activities. Story 6. AITA for not wanting to help cover the costs of my friend's last-minute wedding. So over 9 months ago, I got asked to be a bridesmaid in my good friend's wedding. I felt honored and excited, as this will be my first wedding to attend as well as be a part of in my life. Originally, the wedding was set for some time in 2025, which seemed reasonable because I thought that allowed everyone, especially them to save, plan, and execute a beautiful wedding. Now somewhere between that 9 months till now, they decided to call the wedding off due to them wanting to just have an intimate courthouse wedding and then have a reception instead of the whole shebang. As of September 2023, literally last month, they decided to call the wedding back on and have the ceremony and reception and everything else that comes with it. The wedding date was set for October 24th. Less than a month away from finding out it's back on and now they're scrambling, everyone's scrambling. I had to order a last-minute dress, as did everyone else, and get my whole bridesmaid outfit put together, on top of figuring out a wedding gift for the happy couple. Now my problem is that as the day gets closer, my friend is sending out mass group texts wanting to hold a meeting about the leftover costs for the wedding and wants to delegate these costs to her friends and family. I feel like I'm being railroaded. I do not think it's fair or right to ask for your friends to help pay large amounts to a wedding that they plan to be in 2025, then called off, and then called back on with only about 25 days until the big day. This is making me feel stressed as hell and I'm not even the one getting married. I don't believe it's my duty to have to sacrifice my savings and put myself in a financial bind for the sake of them. I love and care about my friend greatly, but I feel like she's being inconsiderate. Am I wrong to think that or am I overthinking this? I really would like to know as I have never been to a wedding or in a wedding for that matter. My mom told me that if it were her, she just wouldn't attend but I don't feel like I have that option as the bride is one of my best friends and I really would like to celebrate them. What are your thoughts? Update. So, I thank you all for sharing your thoughts and opinion on the matter. I decided to text her privately and clearly and concisely let her know that I will not be able to contribute to her wedding due to me having already adjusted my finances to accommodate the new wedding date. Because I still would like to attend and celebrate this moment with her, I let her know that I am still looking forward to attending the wedding. Her response was that they weren't expecting people to be able to help, despite making a group chat and specifically stating they had leftover costs for the wedding that they would need help covering, and that she's glad I was able to adjust and make time to attend their wedding. Story 7. AITA for saying in-laws can't stay over anymore if Sil keeps ruining my good towels. My husband's brother lives out of state with his family and they come a few times a year to visit, either staying with Mill or with us. For the most part I love having them here. My issue might seem like a petty one but it's been going on for so long now it feels malicious. Maybe I'm insane, that's why I'm here. So we have a bathroom in the foyer where I keep my good towels meant for hand washing / to look pretty. A couple of years ago when we first started this again after COVID, Sil went into that bathroom, instead of the guest bath stocked for her family, and would use these towels to clean off her makeup, leaving black stains all over them. I didn't even realize this until after they left because she'd stuffed them all in the laundry basket and then replaced them. Next time they came I made sure to stock their bathroom with plenty of other towels and said these are for drying our hands only. I made it a thing where I was like showing the kids but made sure she heard. Same thing, she used them to clean up when her kids spilled stuff, wipe her makeup, etc. I went to Target and bought a bunch of small towels and said to Bill feel free to use these. The only time he had used them was when one of the kids cut themselves really bad and I understood that because it was an emergency, but also rip beautiful white towel. So then the last time they were here a few months ago I didn't even put it out the good white towels. And the second day she'd gone into the linen closet and pulled some out. She said she won't get makeup on them but that all the other towels irritate her skin. Now they're talking about coming for the holidays and I said to my husband she has to promise not to use my good towels. My husband asked am I being serious and I said yes, seriously. He said oh so he should have just let the kid bleed and I said I didn't care that time but Sil uses them I feel like on purpose. I said either tell them that or I'm hiding the towels and then you'll see and he thinks I'm nuts. AITA. Story 8. AITA, F18, for requesting a time where I can get undevoted attention from my boyfriend, M20. Almost every time we've gone out, casually or as a date, his sister, F21, will call him. This, on the surface is absolutely fine, but the reason she calls is for him to bring home food. Whilst this, bringing home food for her, is completely reasonable request, I do find it annoying, because I believe that she is old enough and capable of getting her own food, but I won't do anything about it, bring it up with my BF. For context, I was heated up about the time we went on an ice skating date and he picked up the phone while we were on the rink. For me, that feels disrespectful and embarrassing because we were in the rink. But I'm open to interpretations. Sure, the call lasted for maybe 2 minutes but there's something going on if it affects me so much that I have to write a Reddit post about it. Last night I brought up the phone calls to him. I said can you let her know beforehand that we're going on a date and to only call him for emergencies. He said this was unreasonable. I told him that all I want is some time alone with him where he isn't on standby for something so not important. TLDR, I asked my BF to tell his sister not to call him, unless for emergencies, when we're on a date and he thinks that this is an unreasonable request. That's all for today, please don't forget to like and subscribe.